teacher is actually here as well, Ms. Shreve. I owe a huge thanks to her for putting up with my printer and email issues. Also said it to her very last minute. But my story is about how my mom and I actually had to spend the night in an airport. Have you ever had to spend the night in an airport? If you answered no, then count yourself lucky. It isn't a very fun experience. Especially when you're 10 years old and don't know exactly what's going on. If you answered yes, then you probably know some of what I was feeling. Maybe. A few years back in the summer of 2007, my mom and I flew out to Knoxville, Tennessee for my sister's wedding. It was a beautiful wedding and all went well, but that isn't what this paper's about. No, this paper is about the adventure home, which made me say, okay, God, now you've crossed the line, I've gone crazy. We drove from Knoxville to Nashville, where we boarded a plane to Denver. Now, let me explain something. Our tickets were not the standard tickets you buy from Expedia.com or something. No, these were, I know a pilot and he got me $18 tickets. Problem was, the only time you could fly is if the plane had extra seats open. If they didn't, you got bumped and had to wait for the next plane with extra seats that was headed to your destination to come along. So our flight from Denver came along and we got bumped. No big deal. We waited patiently for the next flight to Fresno. We got bumped again. Okay, whatever. We still had the final flight out until we got bumped from that too. I wondered what that meant for us. They said they were offering hotel vouchers for those who got bumped from their final flight out. Apparently there were more people who got bumped than just Mom and I. So we went and we waited in line. Well, Mom waited while I took my pillow and passed out on the ground where I was out of the way but could still easily see her. I was 10, it was late, I was tired. I didn't care if it was on the floor, I wanted to sleep. Before we could get our voucher, they said they were out. No hotel for us. Now what? Every last shred of hope I had of us sleeping in a warm bed tonight had been torn away from me like candy from a baby. Why this was so upsetting for me, considering I could sleep on bedrock at the time and not have any problem, I have no clue. It could be I was still tired when Mom woke me up and I just wanted to go home. I don't know exactly. I just know I was so upset I started crying. We're not going to cry, Mom told me in an effort to cheer me up. This is going to be an adventure. We're going to make this fun and we're not going to cry, okay? She smiled, I sniffled and stopped crying. But 5 minutes later, Mom was bawling. It's okay, Mom, it's an adventure, I kept saying, trying to calm her down with the same words she used to make me relax. It didn't work. Mom called Dad on her near-dead phone and told him the situation, and he said to turn her phone off and save the battery, and that he'd work on finding us a way to get home. Then my mom called my Auntie Jean to vent, and Auntie Jean told her nicely to get it together because she needed to be strong for me. Mom did, and then they talked and figured out what to do for the night. We decided to go to guest services to see if they had any blankets, and that was when I saw her, the lady at the guest services desk. Maybe my memory is deceiving me, or my eyes were playing tricks on me, but I remember it crystal clear. It was like she had a glow about her. A faint one, but a glow. She had medium-length straight hair, white as snow, yet, interestingly enough, she didn't look that old. Her soft brown eyes that were so caring, it'd make even the hardest of hearts melt. Now, our teacher told us that we could embellish our stories a little bit, as in add detail that might not have really been there to make the story more interesting. That isn't what I'm doing here. Everything about this woman gave her the appearance of an angel. The uniform she was wearing was even white. The only thing she was missing was a halo and a pair of wings. Mom explained the situation to her between sobs. She had started crying again. And the lady regrettably said that they didn't have blankets, and she handed Mom a box of tissue and offered to pray with us. We prayed, and afterward the lady kept telling us, God is going to take care of you. She told us where we could find benches that we could sleep on that didn't have arms, and to ride the tram to the other terminal to get there. Mom and I rode the tram for the longest time, trying to get it together. Later, the man operating it said that everyone had to get off. I started to get up, but Mom didn't move. Everyone got off, and Mom explained what had been going on and asked, can we just ride the tram for a few more minutes so we can get our bearings? The man took his radio and spoke into it, saying, "Hey, we have a lady and her daughter riding the tram, just let them ride it." "Got it," a voice replied on the radio. My mom thanked the man. I was absolutely fine, but Mom obviously wasn't. Finally, she got it together and got off at the terminal where we'd been told we could sleep. Mom also told the guard watching that area of the terminal what was going on. The guard told the boss, and the boss rearranged everyone's schedules so that the guard could watch us that night and make sure none of our things got stolen. We laid down on the benches and I fell asleep right away, but Mom hardly slept at all. But when she did sleep, she slept with her laptop bag twisted around her arm and a lock of my hair, I had very long hair when I was 10, wrapped around her fingers, so if anyone tried to steal either of those things, she would feel them move and wake up. When we woke up, Mom turned her phone on and listened to a voicemail from Dad saying to go find a place she could check her email. We found a little kiosk that would let her on the internet, and she checked her email. There was an email from Dad saying that if we got bumped from our next flight, he was ready to buy 2 $800 tickets for the next flight to Fresno. We waited at the gate for our flight to arrive. They had 2 extra seats, 1 parent and 1 child. Mom and I got on the plane and called Dad, telling him the news. I was so happy on the flight, Mom said I slept with a smile on my face. But I know why. I was going home.
I'm so proud of all these people, right? Aren't you? That's a wonderful narrative. Great interjections, and oh my God, I can just imagine your teachers here, right? What a thrill! Why don't you come up here with this? I want you to. Let's get you on the videotape too. Come on. Right? Why not? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Everybody's. Oh, I'm just loving it. I wish you could just do double.